Hello, YouTube. This is the Galley La Podcast, and today we are going to be reviewing Chapter 1057, Final Curtain. So please like and subscribe if you haven't. And this chapter was not controversial at all. Everyone loved it, and
Yeah.
people are gonna love, especially when Gangster Gastino KO's Katakuri, and he's gonna be out next chapter, and they'll move on.
Yeah. This is a interesting part of the cover story. We kind of expected it from last cover, but I was the only one that put Caesar in my honorable mentions for top 30 strongest characters. Because if he takes out Katakuri and Oven at the same time, but I mean, because it's saying like poison gas attack, and
Yeah.
the Vinsmokes, I think, can naturally withstand poison, especially Reiju.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And she could always take the poison out of her brothers if need be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I had a thought of that. And
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could say, like, maybe Katakuri's injured and he's not as, like, aware. You know, maybe you can use that argument, but I think it's a little weak. But maybe you could justify it. I don't think they're going to get defeated, basically, because then you're just stuck with the same thing, unless Judge comes in and saves them all.
Judge top 3.
Yes, indeed. We never actually found out if he won that fight with Snack or not. That was it kind of teased it a little bit in the anime.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
anyways.
The anime builds on the stuff that Oda can't show.
Yeah, we saw the fight, and then we saw Judge just kind of standing off with his children in the distance.
Well,
so it kind of implied, but yeah.
I was making a joke about the Wano stuff that was skipped over.
That's true.
Yeah.
So now we are here basically telling the story of the arc, and I kind of like it. I kind of like the structure and the presentation of it a little bit. I definitely like the art a bit too. Any initial thoughts on that portion?
I think, don't quote me on this, but I think it is being performed like, I think it's called Rakugo, where it's like a dramatic telling of the story or whatever. I think Jump actually has a Rakugo manga in its lineup right now. But yeah, but it's, I don't know, it's kind of weird because the way that it looks like this is being told in the capital, and like all these kids who were being taught by Kaido and everything, they're having their whole history rewritten like before them. So I mean, we can get back to the problems of that toward the end of the chapter, but yeah.
Yeah, so we go to Takage Port, and
you take it.
The Galley La Podcast would like to take a W for the continued doubt and skepticism of Yamato joining, when there were a lot of major YouTubers who completely bought in she was joining. So I just kind of want to throw that there. There were only a couple, and also a W for Mr. Morge, also for making that very strong stance that Yamato would never join too. Yeah, so I'm just going to recap real quick why she would have been a terrible member. No role. You could say, oh, she would have been like a chronicler, but again, that could have been like either Nami, Robin, or Brooke, and that's kind of like the equivalent of saying you need a bartender because, you know, Sanji doesn't necessarily specialize in that, or we need a dagger thrower because we have Zoro, and he doesn't really specialize in that. You know, it's just a subcategory of a role. That's a stupid argument. Her dream was shit because she would have only been to like 2 more islands by the end of the series, and she wanted to see in the world. 3, no character. 4, people only like her for her design, and yeah, her character basically is her gag, with the exception of her flashback with Ace. And 6, she could have potentially messed up the power dynamic with Sanji, Zoro, and Jinbe, and it just kind of would have got weird. And as we saw in the last chapter, it was Luffy and his 3 commanders, which was Zoro, Sanji, Jinbe. with looking at Green Bull. So I thought that was kind of another indicator right there. Like, yeah, she isn't joining.
Yeah, and
also never hung out with the crew at all. But yeah, go.
Yeah, I was gonna say that because we've seen in the past with every other Straw Hat that's joined, like Jinbe he still officially hasn't joined, but
yeah,
but I mean Oda and everyone on the anime staff is treating him as the 10th member. You go back, you look at like Brooke, Frankie, like they were introduced toward the beginning of the arc and had their development and interacted with various the Straw Hats throughout the arc, and you just didn't get that with Yamato. I think that's the biggest thing with me. And I mean, I'm a bit more forgiving of her character than you are, but I feel that she just, in order for her to have truly have gone with the Straw Hats, she needs to drop the whole Odin stuff and be her own person. And I've said that before.
Yeah, and okay, but I want to like even add more bars to why she, like, I'll go as far as to say, and that's why I'm so happy with this chapter. I think it would have ruined like quality of the entire series if she joined the crew, because I think the Straw Hats are that sacred, you know, and because like they are the foundation of the show. And she just has like none of those qualities that I just elicited. Another aspect too, her backstory was not that good. It was like in the low C tier type of backstory, you know. It does not hit as hard as as the other Straw Hats, you know.
Yeah,
she doesn't have a mentor like the other Straw Hats. And kind of going back to what you're saying, look at what Jinbe had to go through to get on the crew. Helps Luffy get out of Impel Down and kind of tried to help save Ace's life. Fights in Marineford. Kind of helps Luffy get out of his shock and trauma. And then he helps him through Fishman Island. And then he helps him through Whole Cake Island. Right? There's like 5 things right there. Boom. Then Yamato's like halfway through Wano, not interacting with anyone. Same with Brooke. Brooke did a lot. Robin was like introduced really early on too, with Whiskey Peak and everything, you know.
Yeah.
She wasn't on the crew, but like she was in the story actively, you know, and interacting with everything.
Yeah.
Yamato was kind of shoehorned in, and this is kind of what I think a shitty aspect right here with Oda's writing is that all this time was emphasized on her when it could have been emphasized elsewhere, and she didn't end up joining the crew, and we're not going to probably see her till the Fighting War, where she'll just have a couple panels in the Final War, and then that's it. You know, while the screen time could have been given to Usopp fight, Chopper fight, Kaido, Big Mom flashback, and then maybe more time to kind of develop the Scabbard's character, etc., etc. I could go on, but a lot of screen time just for the only redeeming aspect of her is she has a cool design, right? And I'm not trying to mock people who like her character or anything. I'm just saying, like, that's her only positive quality. And as Mr. Morgan said, like, if Yamato had the same design as Weevil, everybody would say, you know, she's a shit character, right? You know, and I just love that, you know, so I just wanted to quote that there. But I'd say, like, Yamato was, like, a net negative for this entire arc. You know, like, I'll go as far as to say that.
Yeah, I do agree that Oda did spend a lot of time on her character for her not to join. Yeah, I mean, you look at characters who haven't joined in the past, like, I think... Do you think that Carrot's gotten more, like, one-on-one time with the Straw Hats? Like, well, she's definitely got more...
Tons more, yeah.
Interacting with them. And, but...
She helps save Sanji, you know?
Yeah.
Like...
You look at, like, a character like Polly, like Hachan, like Sabaody. You look at everyone from Marineford, Pedro, Like these characters, I think it's that connection with the crew that really was dropped here, and I'm glad that, like, I would have wanted to see if she did join what Oda would have done with her, but having her not join is kind of a relief because we don't have to deal with that kind of fallout with everything.
Yeah, because like, so she's officially a side character, and you know what's like kind of like bad about this whole thing? You know, as we're talking, I'm realizing it more and more. I have a stronger emotional connection to Polly to this day. Like, seriously, way better developed character, really cool character, right? Well, I guess we already Galley La Podcast, so we're biased, right?
Yeah.
Now compare Polly's screen time to Yamato's.
Mm-hmm.
Relative, you know, per capita, if you go by the art.
I mean, he kind of had a similar role in helping the Straw Hats get through Ennie's lobby in Water 7, but he was there throughout the whole arc.
Yeah, he was there. He was interacting with the Straw Hats a lot, and he was like, yeah, he was like to CP9, I thought you guys were my friends, like, and he's like crushed by it, you know? And he had his funny gag, and then he told Zora, like, tell them they're fired, right?
Yeah.
You know, so his dream kind of got fulfilled. Honestly, Polly would be like a way better crew member than Yamato. Like, just all those qualities I just listed to you right there, and he was a side character.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Polly's an underrated character to begin with, but I don't know. I mean, I still like Yamato, but I think people kind of overhyped her. But I think she has a better fit as a commander, as the part of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, more so than an actual crew member, which is fine because you got people like Bartolomeo and Cavendish and all those people that are part of the fleet that I would say have a better rapport with the Straw Hats than her, and
she's also the guardian deity of Wano, right? So like, she should be there. Like, oh, I'm Odin, whatever. But first and foremost, she's a guardian deity of the Wano, and she needs to be there. And we've been saying that for like some chapters already. You know, I guess we're like the only ones that got that.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I know people like to rag on Green Bull and his lack of like display of power, even though it really wasn't a lack of it's not like he was weak, but like you need Yamato to stay on the island because she is I mean, you look at it in perspective, she was going one-on-one with Kaido and holding her own for the most part. Like, she wouldn't have won, but she wasn't like she's definitely strong. With the Straw Hats and everyone leaving, she's definitely the strongest person on Wano.
Oh, totally. And I think if you were to like, okay, this is her role as the guardian deity of Wano, it's like, okay, cool. Yeah, she's a cool character. Fine. You know, nothing like incredible cool character. But like, I guess when you get the animus for me coming, when you try to make her Straw Hat level, then I'm going to be like hella toxic. You know? Because you're putting, it's like, no, you don't. Like, you get out of the way. And again, I already compared and contrast what the other Straw Hats had to do to get in the crew compared to her be like, hey, I'm joining the crew now. And I kind of wish Oda showed, like, why Luffy, like, how that interaction went with her, you know? And I guess Jinbe was right, like, hey, no, gotta wait for the captain. And Jinbe was right about that one.
I mean,
you know?
I mean, I will bring this up toward the end of the chapter about something, but hold on, let me look at the official translation of the last thing, because the last page I was gonna say that it seemed like this was kind of Oda's intent originally, because it didn't say like well, she says, well, I've made up my mind. Guess I'll go to Luffy and his crew. I'm going to live the way Kozuki Oden did. I mean, to be fair, that definitely was pointing toward her being part of the crew, but it can this fits in with that translation as well, like her not going. But at the same time, I keep emphasizing it, like, she needs to be her own character. And she's still clinging on to, I need to do what Odin did. And
and Mr. Mord
I'm
made
tired
that point.
of I'm tired of that.
Right. And I think a lot of people are. I've seen that in a lot of reactions. And Mr. Mord's made that point, like, she's the exact same character. She hasn't changed at all this entire time. I think you could say Robin, there was change. Brooke, there was change. Like, a lot of characters. Jeez, even Polly, there was change. Right? Okay? And I think someone made this really good. I read this comment somewhere. I thought it really hit it well. All this unnecessary focus on Yamato has taken away Jinbe's moment of him, like, being officially a part of the crew. You know? Mm-hmm. Is she going to join? Is she not going to join? Oh, this is Yamato show, apparently, you know? And then it's like, okay, cool. Now Jinbe's kind of getting shafted, even though, like, he's done so much for Luffy and the crew, you know? And so he's kind of getting his moment taken away because of Yamato's bipolar personality, you know? Mm-hmm. And so that kind of got a little irritating to me. Like, I'm a huge Jinbe fan, you know, and I'm, like, really happy he's a part of the crew. Mm-hmm. I think there is one note that should be established here, is that Blackbeard Pirates now have 9 crew members and a captain, and same with the Straw Hats now. They're equal numerically speaking. And I know there's the 10th Titanic captain, who we don't know who that's going to be. That may be Aokiji, and then Aokiji leaves, and then we're still kind of left with that perfect numerical equal right there.
No, that's going to be who Vivi fights.
So if Vivi gets on the crew, or now this is your girl, so I'm gonna let you talk about this, or Carrot is gonna be back. So you take a stab at this.
I mean, I can definitely see them fitting in better than Yamato.
Well, no, but like the foundation of why you think there's still a chance Carrot joins the crew.
Oh, I just think that, I mean, she never gave a direct answer to Nekomamushi and Inuarashi about accepting the leader of being the leader of Zou. And I can see it in her character to sneak onto the ship, because that's what she did in Whole Cake.
Yep.
And it's about like Pedro's will. Like they said in the chapter that she's carrying on Pedro's will, and Pedro's will was to well, he initially wanted to go to Roger and like lead the way to the dawn of the new age. So I mean, at the same time, she's neglecting what was appointed to her, but I mean, it's more in her character to do that. And if next chapter we see Carrot just pop up on the ship, like I guarantee like 30% of the fandom will just jump ship.
Yeah, I think I'll literally have to be hospitalized from laughing too hard. I will be that, and like if Katakuri gets KO'd in the cover story too, like I would probably just, the whole world would forget climate change. The amount of salt that would consume this world from the One Piece fandom would cause so many ecological disasters, bro. It would be crazy.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh. And me personally, I think Carrot would be a better crew member. I think make more sense than Yamato, but I still wouldn't want Carrot to join because I still think there's a couple things she lacks too to be at that Straw Hat status. But I wouldn't be as mad as Yamato because I think there's more depth to her character than freaking Yamato, you know, at this point. And so I kind of like the way it is. And I know people, I can hear Jemperor, Vivi, no. How can Vivi be a crew member? Valued contributor, Jemperor. So I don't want to shit talk too hard. But
she's literally listed as an ex-member of the crew.
And her character, she has far developed character. maybe I don't know if could you say she has like a tragic. Okay, I guess you don't have to have a tragic backstory. Like Zoro's was trash, you know. It wasn't that great of a backstory, you know. But and for some reason he didn't get a second half of his flashback in Wano. I thought this was Zoro's arc, but anyways, continuing on to that point. Vivi does have like a pretty good flashback though. Like it's not amazing, but she's definitely been around the crew a lot. In terms of combat, she could be trained this entire time. She has people to train her.
I mean, she's probably. Would you say she's around the Usopp level?
I think that it wouldn't be out of bounds to say she's at Usopp level for sure, because I think she's had like a good amount of training. With the people at Alabasta, she's plenty of people who can train her, and it's been an extended period of time. It's been over 2 years at this point, right? Mm-hmm. So, I think there is like actually a lot of potential, and I think it would make sense. Like she could come back. I mean, no, she has tons of opportunities to come back because they're not going to go back to Alabasta. She's with Sabo right now.
That's what we think. Likely. But yeah,
that's and whether she picks up a devil fruit, whether she learns the 6 powers technique, whether she gets good with hockey, or she learns some crazy technique from Alabasta, because Alabasta has an extremely rich history. And also, you could easily see her have a good dream, like a type of world peace, or taking down the world government. Like, that's way better than Yamato.
Well, I think...
So
Sorry, but I think that with Vivi, I think... This is just me speculating, but I think her final role, because she's like, her family's the descended from the celestial dragons. They were the only ones that was like the 20 kingdoms, and they were the only ones to live among the common folk. And I could see her like at the end of the series with the rest of the like celestial dragons thrown down or whatever. I could see her being like the leader of a new type of a better world government type of thing without the celestial dragons.
Yeah, because Im has her in her crosshairs, and it's just like, that's an interesting, so more tension there. Links to the Void Century too. Like I said, she's spent extensive time with the Straw Hats. She's technically a Straw Hat still. Yeah. And maybe she was too weak to join at that moment, but she's been training in some way, shape, or form, up to that point. And I think she has a good character, to be perfectly frank. I don't, like Jimper, I don't know why he has such like hatred towards Vivi. Like I have hatred towards Yamato, because the Yamato hatred's justified, the Vivi hatred's not justified, And he's gonna be so mad when he listens to this. But I think, honestly, I think it makes a whole hell of a lot of sense if she joins. Now, who she would fight in the Blackbeard Pirates, we could talk about it. I mean, like, again, I have a theory that Moria might be the 10th Titanic captain too, so we could, but again, like, there's a lot more we can say on that later.
But anyway, getting back on topic. Getting back on topic.
We beat that horse then.
Yeah.
Anyways,
well, getting back on topic, we have a filler in the middle of the chapter.
Right.
With Momonosuke remembering all the stuff with Luffy that they've been through. And I don't know. I can see when the anime does this, they're gonna just draw it out. Probably like 5 minutes at least.
5 episodes.
Yeah. But yeah. And then they're all Kinemon, Momonosuke, and Yamato are all going down toward the port to meet up with Luffy and get him to say goodbye. And then we cut to the port where I like the interaction with Law and Chopper, where basically Law tells him to like screw off. Like I think that's funny because of their. I just remember the part in Punk Hazard where Chopper's strapped to the top of Law's head.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, again,
it's gonna be weird to see Law gone. It's gonna be weird, you know.
Yeah, 10 years they've been part of the alliance. Yeah. And then we see them make it to the shore, and I mean, you get the reminder that with Momonosuke crying and everything about Luffy, like he's inside, he's an 8-year-old kid, even though he's been aged up 20 years. And he's gonna miss these people who are who have been such an influential part of his life in helping beat Kaido and everything. And and I liked it. I've grown fonder of Momo's character, besides the whole being a goblin, a sex pest goblin with Nami and Robin.
He's grown a lot, and I think I kind of wish we had a little bit, instead of the flashback, we got more Kinemon too, because like Kinemon's been with us forever. Has a good character as far as I'm concerned, you know. I kind of wish we got a little bit more from him on this too, you know, because those two are like inseparable, you know. Momo and I mean, they were introduced as like father and son, you know. And so it was just really, I think, yeah, it's cool to see Kinemon see them off too and everything. But yeah, Momo, I've grown to like him, and he does have a good character, just like him embracing his name with Kaido and everything, you know. That was actually a great part of Onigashima right there. Man, it's cool. Like Luffy, you know, he relatively looks the same physically, but he's just so different, and he just, here's the flag, and that flag means a lot more now, you know. Like, hey, I'm a Yonko, you know. And
it's like officially, this is like his first official territory. Like, he claimed Fishman Island, but this is like the official first thing.
Yeah.
And
it's
I saw someone point out that he's kind of been acting a lot more confident since like year 5th. So I don't know if that is any significance or anything, but I thought it was an interesting observation.
Well, he's a conqueror, obviously, and he conquered someone, Kaido, you know, and he took his territory from him, you know. So there is going to be like that regal aspect of like a king, you know, that's coming with Luffy. You know, he's still goofy and everything, but he's conquered now. And then we see Momo say, I'm going to surpass Kozuki Odin one day. And then we get the unfunny gag, you talking about me with Yamato. Yay, I'm so glad she's talking about the crib, because we'd be getting that every chapter. And that would get old. That'd get old quicker than freaking Sanji's gag. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, is it going to get more than Brooks' gag, which has gone away, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, and I actually kind of like Brooks' gag. You know, it's funny, you know.
No, but, he's a sexual harasser. He's not allowed. Cancel Brooke.
Yeah, you know what? He's already dead, so he got canceled already.
Yeah.
So,
but before we move on, I was gonna say, because Luffy says, if you ever want to be pirates, I'll come for you right away. So, I mean, people were like speculating if Kinemon was gonna be a member of the crew, because like the naming with the fruits or whatever, there was some sort of thing with that in Japanese. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, it has something to do with the way like Go-Mu for Luffy's is like 5'6", and I think if you break down like Chopper's, Robin's, and Brooks' fruits, they cover like a few other. They cover 8 out of like 10 numbers, and I think Kinemon's would have fit in the last 2. So that's why people were speculating with that. But yeah, so what do you think about him saying that they're welcome. And this might be a translation. I want to see the official translation for, like, I'll come for you right away. Or I want to see if it translates to you're always welcome or whatever. Because I don't see him, like, them calling them up. Oh, we want to be the pirates. Oh, let me swing back by Wano.
Yeah, it's just like, and there's always the number thing too. It's like, they're gonna have roughly equal number of pirates as Blackbeard. You know, like it's not. Oh, Blackbeard's like, yeah, throw my crew, yeah, just to match it up. It's like, no. Again, like Straw Hat's gonna be equivocated. That the members just it's gonna be so loose and unimpressive if we do that. Like just throw on these three, on top of everything else, and they have the rules. They'll just be a part of the Grand Fleet, and that's it, and. Look, I am so happy Wano's over because we just get to see the crew interact again.
I know.
No more it's been, like you said, just 10 years. No more scabbards. No more all this Kuzuki stuff. There was good parts of it. There was bad parts of it. I do like it. The anime's made it better. But, like, just seeing Nami say, alrighty, let's set course. That's just cool to me.
With
right?
everyone
we get
there.
That again. Yeah, that's cool. It's great to see that. And just seeing them set off sail with the Sunny and just right next to Kid and Law, that's great. That's really cool stuff. That was honestly one of my favorite parts, second obviously to Yamato not trying, but that was still like a great thing to see again, and I'm really excited to see the crew dynamic come back.
And we get the last part of would you call these three like the big three of the Supernovas now?
Honestly, I think they're like the only three. Nobody else seems close.
You don't want to include Hawkins in that, who may or may not be dead.
He's probably dead.
Yeah.
I mean, we might see Big Father floating in the ocean somewhere.
Yeah.
Like,
and
don't forget about me.
Yeah. But this might be the last interaction with these three in a while. And I think it's a good note to end on with this, and I'm excited to see.
The safe and sound thing was funny too, right? That was a good little tension.
Just Kid always is the instigator and like prodding at them.
I watched Saboti the other day and Dub with these three when they're coming out of the slave house, the auction house and everything, and I'm like, damn. And I was just talking to my buddy. I was like, they've come such a long way.
Look how far they've come.
It's crazy, and it's awesome to kind of look back at that. It's great, and it's funny how like they're telling Luffy calm down, and then Luffy's like, Jinbe, give me the helm, and so it is cool to see like, cool, like the crew's fighting again, and Jinbe, he's a part of the crew now. It's awesome. Super happy to see that, and you see all three going down the waterfall stupidly, and maybe they can wave hi to the Big Mom Pirates as they're going down, So,
oh my gosh, the Big Mom Pirates. We'll talk about this after we finish the chapter, but anyway, do you have anything else more to say about that?
So we're just getting back to the narration part, right? And, if you want to take over from here,
I mean, I think I've seen a lot of people have a problem with this part with Hiyori, because it just seems so antithetical to what Oda has said before, because like it's like a dramatization about what happened. Or do you think this really happened with her talking with the burning Orochi head?
Maybe it just got burned up when the whole thing lit on fire, right?
But
there's gonna be some dramatization for sure.
But she's like, we all know their name means charcoal, so the Kurozumi were born to burn. And I know it's like a pun, or it's like a and it relates back to Odin was made to boil. But it kind of I was listening to JD Legend's reaction to this, and he's like, the cycle hasn't been broken in terms of hatred with this. Because to go back to Ennie's lobby and Frankie, it's not a crime to be born. And I was looking up about the Kurozumi thing because I needed a refresher. But, like, we know that their family tried to poison all the other daimyo to become the next leader of the shogun, or become the next shogun, and they were hunted down because of that, and even the innocent ones. And I mean, people can say like, oh, this they can say this now because like Kanjuro and Orochi were the last ones, but we don't know that. They thought they were all gone before with Orochi. And I don't know, I think it's like propaganda in the opposite end now, because they're saying this to they're like spreading this to the wider public of Wano now. And I mean, we understand that they're the bad guys, but if you look at them, I mean, even like you think about the kids who have been taught like Orochi, like Odin was the bad guy, Orochi was the good guy. Like their whole thing is being upended on itself, and it's hard to know what to believe.
Yeah.
And
sorry, go.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It just seemed very spiteful for Hiyori. And I mean, we understand why, because Orochi like led Wano into ruin for 20 years, but I don't know. I think it could have been done better.
So, just ranting the premise of this is the translation, right? I'm just gonna rant this. Yeah, so I think one, it could be good storytelling in the sense that the wall's still up, right? The borders are still up, and there's still like this hateful, imperfect morality that we see that Wano still holds on to, right? They're not fully transformed yet, and Hiyori still holds on to this poison in her heart, and I kind of, because let's be real, she's slightly sociopathic with how she treated those guys, even though like, yeah, they had it coming.
True.
You still have to be kind of messed up to do that stuff, right? Even though good intentions, whatever. I kind of think there's this idea where I kind of like it in a way. There might be some way you can like it in the sense like, yeah, this is bad, but they still have more growth to go, kind of like how Yamato still has more growth to go, you know? And she's kind of like the more imperfect of the two when it comes to Odin, because Odin was like a pure idealist, and then she has like a lot of issues, you know? And she's suffered a lot more than her brother has, you know? And so if you kind of want to look at it, yeah, the message is evil, but there's like a lot of imperfect characters in the show. You know, if you kind of want to look at it that way, then I think it's a little bit more mature view of morality in that sense. Or you can kind of look at it in more like, not like in a internal principle way, like the Kurozumi deserved the burn to suffer, right? Or is it like more like her saying they got their due in terms of justice? Like, they're gone. You're right. It's like a hyperbolic, ancient, even like in some sense, like a biblical sense, like they got what was due to them for their evil deed. Or is she speaking in a more internal principle? No, they always deserve to suffer no matter what. But yeah, sorry, go. That's just another way to look at it.
I mean, literally, if they just changed, like, because with Odin it was his first name, whereas this is like condemning the whole family. But if literally they changed it to Kurozumi Orochi was born to burn or whatever, that would make it like infinitely better. Right. I want to see the official translation for this before I have my final say on it. But
yeah, so I mean, you could just say, look, I'm not obviously. I don't share the same racism as the green-haired characters do in this series, Zoro. But I
thought you dyed your hair for that.
No.
Your favorite character.
Yeah, I don't share that hateful tendencies of Zoro and other green-haired characters, but I think it is if you just kind of want to be like, okay, who suffered more, the people under the Kozuki or the people under the Kurozumi? You know, I'm not just justifying what she's saying, but just in terms of an emotional sense, like, he did horrendous shit, you know, to Wano. It's, you know, like, everybody suffered, you know. He didn't do it for the Kurozumi, he just did it for himself, Orochi, you know. So, I mean, yeah, I think, like, and also there's, like, just a political messaging here. Every regime's gonna have its issues too, you know. From the Kozuki to the Kurozumi, they both have their faults. I just think like the Kurozumi were way more evil than like the Kozuki, you know. And I don't know. I think in one way you can kind of look like it's mature. Like they both have their messed up issues. Not everybody's like the Nefari, the Alabasta family. Yeah, the Nefertari family.
Yeah,
they're kind of like all perfect saints, right? But kind of when you look at Wano, a lot of them have a lot of issues and shortcomings, you know. So even Odin, right? He had a lot of issues, you know, and he kind of helped lead to this terrible situation, you know. So I guess there's a lot of ways you can look at it, storytelling, but you know, yeah. And then they conclude it, and
yeah, we finally get the end of Act 3.
Yeah, so I feel more comfortable doing a review of Wano now that it's over. I know we were kind of talking about bringing one for the channel, but now that it's over, I kind of feel like I can read it now as a whole and judge it, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's okay. Good parts, bad parts. It's not in my top 3. I'll just say that much.
Yeah, it has some really high highs, but also I think some of the worst writing in the series in terms of like skipping things and everything. Big Mom amnesia and mother mode. But before we go on that, rip Skitty Raizo. He didn't get the same treatment as Shinobu.
He was perfect the way he was. Perfectly. We don't need to slander one of the best characters in Wano here, you know.
Yeah. But you look at the picture and Yamato fits right in with that group. So
yeah, that's where she belongs. Like around the people who knew Odin the best, you know, and his literal lineage. You know, like this is where she belongs as a fangirl, you know, obsessing over the dead father. It's kind of creepy, but you know, like this is it, you know. F and the Chef, Rashra Doji, and Izo, you know.
Luffy never got to talk with Marco.
Yeah, he doesn't like pineapples. What can I say? But you know, it's not like Marco saved his life multiple times,
but,
right?
But yeah, it's yeah. I will say this though. I've heard the rumor that this epilogue of Wano was rushed because they wanted to kind of premiere the new arc, the final arc with Film Red, and you can kind of see it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily true, but if it is, you can see it.
No, that's a good point. And he just needed to move on. Like I said, we've been with the Scabbards for 10 years, you know, and I want as much care. I'm okay sacrificing the quality of Wano if it means a beautiful, borderline spotless ending, you know, with a full crew, Jinbe's here, new power-ups, resolving the world government issue, and Blackbeard being brought into his prime. Let's just bring it all out there. You know, we have the foundation, the Kid Pirates and the Law Pirates and the Cross Pirates. Like, we have all these cool factions. Let's just, you know, go with it. You know, let's just leave Wano in the past, good and bad, and let's just, like, start afresh, you know?
Kill the past. Last
well,
Jedi.
You know. Yeah. My toxicity has hit record highs this episode. Let's just not bring it even higher, okay? let's just stop, you know. But Yeah, honestly, so we'll probably be back soon. Hopefully in the near future with a complete review of this, with Wano and everything. And I'm really excited for the next chapter. Like, I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, this is like the first time in a while that we haven't had a clear goal.
Mm-hmm.
It's just get to the One Piece.
Let's do it. And thank you for listening, everybody, our loyal listeners and all the rest. So like and subscribe, do all that jazz. And again, sorry for the toxicity, but I needed to take a couple victory laps on the Yamato agenda, So, and watch out, Carrot be out there. So hide your theories, hide your theories and your what's it called? Your agendas, your man, what's it called? You have your imagined idea how the story is gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, see ya. Have a good one. Peace.
See ya.